Okay, I'm going to show you how to access some of the resources that I talked about in the last two videos. So you want to start at the main library homepage, library.ecu.edu. As a reminder, any of the databases we talked about, this is how you want to access them. Click on database lists right here. Don't Google them. Even if you think you can access the content, you want to always go through the library database, especially being off campus. It may have you sign in with your pirate ID and passphrase, but that's really important to make sure that you get the content that your tuition's already paying for. And if you do have any technical issues or you're confused about some part of it, just reach out to me or one of the other librarians and we'll be able to help you with that. So the first one I want to show you is PubMed. You can either type the name right here or click on P and then scroll down for PubMed. This is a really big, important database, especially in the health and the sciences. It's a good place to start looking for things. And I'll show you, similar to OneSearch, and really with any of the databases, I like to start searching more simply, and then you can always add additional keywords as needed. But PubMed does a good job of predicting what you want to look up, which may or may not be helpful for you. So I would start simple again. I'm going to type in just eating disorder. So you can see I haven't even typed anything all the way in, but it's already given me predictive text. So these are different terms that I may want to add related to my searching, or at least consider. So this is what PubMed looks like. Just starting off. So they give you best matches depending what you typed in. So I like that feature. These are articles they think would be best matches for you based on what you typed in. They also give you related searches. So just other things to be aware about. Maybe they may give you additional terms that you didn't know of. I also like looking at the search details here. Even if you don't understand this whole box, and depending what you type in, so all I typed in was eating disorder, nothing else, right? But this box is telling me all the different ways that PubMed is searching for you additionally. So they may give you, in this instance, they didn't really give me anything beyond, but it says feeding and eating disorders. So that's just another way that this is categorized in PubMed. Some of the examples, though, it may give you maybe the more technical term for what you're looking for. So an important thing to know about PubMed, the reason I showed you the evidence pyramid before, filtering is a little bit, it's an extra step from what I showed you on the Joiner Library OneSearch. So article types right here, if you click on this customize link, this is giving you all these different resources that you could filter by. So the reason I wanted you to look at that little evidence pyramid, and maybe don't memorize it, but just be aware that those are different things that exist and you're going to encounter. You can go through and pick any of those terms that are on that evidence pyramid and only look at those, for example. So I'm not going to do all of them, but if I only want to look at meta-analysis, for example, and randomized control trial, I'll click on them here, and then you have to click again, which it's kind of annoying. It's an extra step, but once you get used to it, it does visually remind you with a little check mark and bolded print here what filters you've activated. There, I could show you the check mark. And if you decide to remove that filter later, you can always click on it again. Publication dates. So that'll be similar to OneSearch where you can either pick the last 5 years, the last 10 years, or a custom range, just depending on your topic and depending on your particular assignment requirements, you can also add those in. I'm going to change my search a little bit. Let me see. So right now we have 1,573 articles. I'm going to do eating disorder with quotation marks. So it's looking up eating disorder in that exact phrase, or bulimia. Why is sorry, or anorexia. And you want to put the parentheses there like a math equation. So we're looking for any of those terms or a combination of those terms. And we're going to add recreational therapy or treatment or intervention or therapy or activity. So those are just ones I kind of brainstormed off the top of my head. But I would recommend to you to write out exactly what you search and just add to that list depending what you find. So now in the search details bar, it's going to be searching for all those additional terms that we added and some other ones as well. So it's worth looking at and seeing if they add more jargony or scientific terms than what you typed in. I really like the best matches function, and typically PubMed does a good job of giving you similar articles. So you can see the links right here. So if it's an article you find particularly useful and you'd like to see things related to that, it does a pretty good job of filtering those things. I'm just going to click on a title to show you what you might see. Okay, so this is just going to give you an abstract, so basic overview of the study. This is typically what this looks like. I like to read these because it may be that this is exactly what you want and you'd like to pursue and read this whole article, or it may be that this isn't exactly what you were thinking and you have to search a little bit differently or try one of your other options. Again, it gives you similar articles on the right-hand side here. Let me see if this one, okay. Sometimes they give you author-supplied keywords. And, okay, well, this one's not as easy and obvious, but sometimes they're just in this abstract as well, so that's another thing to look for and just be aware. Sometimes they'll give you author-supplied keywords spelled out right here, and they may be related to your topic exactly. So if I want to actually access this article though, you're gonna have to click over here. Usually there's a button that looks like this. Again, if you for any reason have a technical error, please contact the library and we'll be able to work it out for you. Hopefully this one works without. Okay. Okay, well this is the article here, but sometimes it does give you a PDF version, and I would recommend that just because it's a little bit easier to read and search through. Oh, here we go. See, I freaked out about it too. So don't freak out. It may look differently just depending where your article is coming from. But just search around a little bit, and if you're having trouble, reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. In the interest of time, I jumped ahead a little bit to go back to the main database list, and I want to show you Education Research Complete. This is another one that might be helpful for you guys starting out. It just looks a little bit different, but I went through the main library homepage, library.ecu.edu. So your same basic search things are going to be the same rules. It just looks visually a little bit different. Um, Let me do parentheses here. Oh, it gives you predictive text too, so I like that. They may give you additional ideas. So I'm going to do all those different things. Eating disorders, bulimia, or disordered eating. And I'm going to do recreational therapy. Oh, look at all these great suggestions. And you can add additional columns too. You might want to do and activities. Don't feel confined to just two different fields, but also try not to get overwhelmed because you will have to search more than once and kind of determine what you need to add. So the basic format looks a lot like the Joiner Library OneSearch, just starting off. This is a much smaller database than PubMed, so if you get too specific, it may not have the thousands of different answers, but sometimes that can be overwhelming too. The important limiters to show you on the side here are you want to limit to scholarly or peer-reviewed journals, at least for your first part of your assignment. You have the same kind of date options if you want to do that. Feel free to limit that way. Okay, so for these, it's going to be very similar where it gives you the subjects. You may want to add as keywords, maybe not, just depends. There's a title here. Typically, if you click on the purple Find It button, it may have you sign in with your pirate ID and passphrase if it hasn't already. Hopefully this one will just work with no technical issues, but we'll see. Okay, so things are in a little bit of a different location, but it's the same basic format where there's a full text PDF option. You can download the PDF. It gives you automatic citation generator. So I would say please check any of the automatic citations against Purdue OWL and their updated rules because some of them are perfectly correct and some of them are almost there, but it is worth checking with Purdue OWL just to make sure that they're formatted entirely correctly so you don't lose points. I like on the right side, it'll give you related items as well. Some of these subject fields that this article has been categorized in may also relate as keywords for your searching. So just be aware of all those different things to take note of. You may also want to look at the references of a particular article. If you find something to be really helpful, you may want to look at the study that they looked at. The abstract will give you this short synopsis of different information. I was seeing if there were keywords, but of course there aren't really, but the subject terms here might have to do with what you would want to search with.